hours? No, we're all good. Okay, Annie, I see you made it back on. Awesome. So I'm going to hand the floor over to Stephanie. I'm just going to mute Annie real quick. Stephanie, if you could start out by sharing how long you've been with the business or with the company also. I didn't really specifically ask that. And even if you could share like geographically where you're at and that type of thing. So take it away, Stephanie.
Sure. My name is Stephanie Vansel. I have been with the company almost a year now. It was a year on the 27th of this month. It will be. I got signed up through Melanie Jones. She is my sponsor. Actually, I got signed up for my husband, who has been in and out and doing this and that. But I loved it. So I stuck with it. I was overweight, tired. I had heartburn, bloating, constipation, hormone-related headaches for 2 weeks out of the month. It was terrible. So really, I thought that was normal. So, finding Plexus was actually awesome for me. I'm here in Marshfield. I live here with my 2 kids and my granddaughter as well. And my husband. We all live in the same house right now, which is a little bit crowded, but makes it easy to have gotten them started as well. So I have lost about 35 pounds and tons of inches. I have lots more energy, no more bloating, no heartburn at all from any foods at all whatsoever. I am regular. I went from 2 weeks of the hormone-related headaches to maybe 1 or 2 a month, if any at all. And I met a whole community of support. So I'm very thankful for that.
Awesome. So in that whole year's time, were you being consistent on the products for a year?
No, I was not. When I first got started, I got started with a smaller package of the Lean Shake, the Slim, and the MetaBurn. And I was also doing Weight Watchers at the time as well. And the shakes are a little bit high in points when it comes to Weight Watchers, so I wasn't taking those. And I was taking just the MetaBurn, missing the Slim sometimes. I actually got my husband started on the Triplex. So after a while, I started taking that because he didn't at first. It was snake oil, voodoo,
right.
all that natural stuff. So
even though he's the one that got you started.
When I started, yeah, well, he didn't get me started, but I got started for him. I purchased products specifically for him because he's the epitome of walking inflammation. He has all kinds of stuff going on. So we had the Triplex, and I was like, well, I'm not going to let it go to waste. So I started taking it. And once I started taking the Triplex and started being more consistent, I started feeling relief with the constipation and the bloating. And I was starting to lose some weight, but it was coming off slowly. And then joining those weight loss challenges with Joanna really helped. Then eventually I incorporated the intermittent fasting as well. And yeah, I don't even, right now we're not really weighing, and I still see it come off. I might weigh myself once or twice a month, if that. And, I feel different. It's that I don't even care how much I weigh. I feel that much different. So
how many times do we hear that, ladies? Like all the time, right? Yeah.
Always.
That's awesome. That's so regular to hear that. What would you say to somebody who is doing Weight Watchers and counting their points system and avoiding things like lean? Did you end up getting on lean?
I do have lean. I don't drink it all the time. It is good for when I'm in a hurry or it's really warm out and I want something nice and cold. I've actually frozen it as ice cream and given it to my granddaughter when she's super fussy and doesn't want to eat anything. So it allowed some protein intake there as well. But yeah, it's worth it. It's different because when I was on Weight Watchers, it was eggs and fruit every morning for breakfast and every day for lunch, because that was 0 points, and then I could save up all my points for at night. And now just my eating habits have changed. For a while, I was doing intermittent fasting and, just for the heck of it, I was counting my points and going way over and managing to lose a ton of weight. So it's a difference in how my body is working now, I think. And not
That's
that Weight
awesome.
Watchers is bad. It definitely worked for me for a while when I was using it. But I had to eat a lot less or definitely watch everything that went into my body.
That's awesome. And who wants to do that? You know, we all want food freedom, right, Joanna? Food freedom. Um, so you're a senior silver right now, right?
Yep, I made it there at the end of last month.
Awesome. So how long did you, yeah, big round of applause being given to you. When did you start sharing?
Well, I started within a few months. I enrolled my husband and then one of my friends and then my daughter. I think one per month. It was like October, November, and December. I enrolled one each month. And then I think in February, I hosted an online event and enrolled a few more people. And then shortly after that, I enrolled another one, and it just kind of went from there. So now I'm posting regularly and letting people know how I feel, because, you know, before when it's the beginning stages, you don't want to share those pictures. So those before pictures aren't always pleasant. So
Yeah.
And now I think it's important for me to share how I'm feeling with people so that they can feel like that too.
Exactly. Exactly. I can't even add to that. That's perfect words. All right. Well, thank you for sharing, Stephanie. We really appreciate that. I'm going to open the floor
You're
to,
welcome.
okay, great. I'm going to open the floor to Rayanne. Like I said, she's going to share some takeaways from the conventions, and you're welcome to share your journey with us because most of us don't know what you've experienced. So take the floor.
Okay, hi everybody. Like I said, I've never done this before, so I learned so much from these conventions. I love listening to the doctors. I love listening to people's stories, their journeys. Everybody's journey is different. And mine, geez, I can go back so many years. I've had 37 surgeries. I've died 3 times. I have a pacemaker, and I also had gastric bypass surgery. I was 285 pounds at one time and had to lose all that weight. And then I had to have circumferential body lift, and my heart wouldn't take it. I ended up dying that night after my surgery. Since then, my health has not been good. And my daughter started Plexus about a year ago, and she kept trying to tell me that I needed to get on it because there were so many health benefits from Plexus. So I started listening to all of these meetings, conventions, just to try to take away what I could from all of it, try to educate myself. I'm 65 in August, and I'm living the best life I had ever had. I have good family now. I have good life. I stay on my Plexus. I've been on it 5 months now, and it's just amazing. I've lost 12 pounds, which I was hoping to lose more weight, but it wasn't necessarily what I went on Plexus for. I went on it for health reasons. My high blood pressure, I have an ulcer in my new stomach, and I was drinking a lot of soda. And my daughter kept saying, "You got to get off the soda, got to get off the soda." Well, soda was my life. That's all I drank. I never drank water. Water was taboo. It was like, oh my God, my whole insides are going to rust if I drink water. And now that's what I drink. I drink my Slim, I drink my Active, I put collagen in everything now. And I love it. I have lean every other morning for my breakfast with my collagen, and throw a banana or a strawberry in it. And I think that's a treat. I love it. So I'm not going off Plexus. I don't care what it costs me every month. it is worth it. It's worth every dime.
Oh my gosh. Our corporate office would love to have you on an opportunity call. That is a heck of a story. And I love, you did a great job explaining what it means to you. So that is incredible. Besides the weight loss, can you put into words like some of the more specific things it's helped you with, like constipation, bloating, migraine, headaches, acid reflux, allergies, anything?
I used to get heartburn from certain foods, but now I started out with the plexus, and that is what I just recently added ease and nerve because of all my surgeries. I have a lot of nerve damage,
Yeah.
and the plexus has helped my gut. So now I'm regular. I don't have the bloating. As you all know, as you get older, that spare tire comes on. Well, mine is deflated. So now I keep it in the trunk.
That's
So
awesome.
I don't have to worry about that anymore. I can actually wear t-shirts and they actually fit. I was just so proud of myself. I told my daughter, I said, I'm not a large anymore. I've gone down to a medium.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So yes,
Especially considering where you
plexus has
started.
really helped. It's helped.
That is awesome.
Yes,
Is
yes.
there anything about the virtual convention recently that you really took away as a one, or it can be more than one thing, but was there anything that really grabbed you, any specific speaker, any specific knowledge that you took away from the convention virtual um, that has helped you?
Dr. Hartman is very, very educated in the products and the way how collagen works together with just not one product, but how they Dr. Hartman talk about collagen. It really convinces you to give it a try. I'm on my second month of collagen now, and I think it's going to be a regular product of mine. Did we lose Tanya?
I was muted. I just want to encourage you. I know when we chatted, you made a comment about like, well, I'm not sure how much of the business side I can fit into my life, or being in that stage of your life where you're looking more to slow down. But I would definitely encourage you to share, Rayanne. You have some serious life in you. And what I mean by that is passion, and your story is amazing. And I think you could do amazing things to help other people. So just a little words of encouragement there for you.
Thank you. I have signed up 2 friends this last month. So
Awesome. So you're one away from silver. That's fantastic.
yeah,
Great job.
not that I'm trying, but I just would like to help everybody with their health.
Well, there you go. Imagine if you put in some consistent effort, you could probably do some amazing things, Rayanne. So thank you so much for sharing. Stephanie,
Thank
you too. Both of you, thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate that. Your stories are really amazing. I can't wait to keep watching both of you. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Annie was talking to me today, and Annie I hope this relates to a lot of people. It definitely relates to me, but she has struggled greatly between almost like a teeter-totter state or a ping pong game. I picture it, where the one side of her is so passionate about plexus and so desirous to share it with other people and to really change lives and to change her family's life. And then she's got this other side of her that is a nurturer and caretaker and a yes lady. And she has the hardest time not saying yes to all kinds of things that pull her in directions that are not really meeting her needs personally. They're causing a lot of frustration and dissatisfaction with what she's trying to accomplish. And it feels like a lot of anxiety and heavy burden, not only to saying yes to everybody else, but then that tug of war about where your heart is versus where everybody else wants you to be. And so I hope that's okay that I shared that much depth, Annie. I should have maybe told you what I was going to say. It just all kind of came out. But she's at that place. And of course, it's all about boundaries, right? And I recognize this so much. I know a little bit about Annie's background, but I don't know lots of it. But for me, I came from a very dysfunctional background. And I was just talking to my husband the other day, and I said, I realized I've been taking care of other people since I was 9. And basically my family fell apart, and I stepped into the role of like, well, I have to fix everything so people are happy. And I think so many of us women can relate to that. I think Annie can relate to that. Like, let's fix, as soon as we see a fire, we automatically make ourselves in charge of, we must be the ones that have to put the fire out because nobody else around us is doing it. I know this relates to a lot of people because I've definitely talked to a lot of people in some way, shape or form. Maybe it's deeper for some than it is others, but that ends up creating these huge boundary issues when you're an adult, right? And then you've got to try to figure out guilt-free how you can go after what you want out of your life, and learn to say no and create those boundaries without feeling, like I said, that guilt and trying to deal with that internal struggle. So Annie, with that said, do you want to just kind of run with that and share what so what she was telling me about is like initially what convention did to her regarding this subject matter, the impact that convention and all of you and everybody that was at convention and all the things that you shared with her, how that impacted her around this subject matter. So Annie, go ahead and take it from there. Oh, hold up. I had you muted just to make sure. Hold on. There you go. Got it.
I'm not sure how much I can really say. I do know that listening to everybody speak, that everyone at some point had to stop and take care of themselves. And that's the one thing that stood out to me the most that I took back from convention, that everyone at some point got overwhelmed. Like I am, like 24/7, like high, low, high, low, high, low, like that's my life. And it was really important for me to see that even those who are like way at the top of the company still struggle, like I do all the time. So that was my one take back from convention.
Yeah, and I'm going to have you share a little bit more, but how many of you here, regardless of your rank, struggle at something like self-doubt, boundaries, time
Definitely.
management? Yeah. How many of you beat yourselves up for not being good enough half the time?
You don't have enough time in the day.
Yeah. I think that this is a big fallacy that everyone else around you has it all together and is like just rocking it. It's a really big fallacy. I mean, there might be some people that are rocking it, but there are definitely people, the majority of us are, hold on a second, I'm going to try everyone else muted. I think the majority of the rest of us are just trying to consistently battle whatever mental issues are going on amongst what I just said, as well as there's a plethora of other things that people get bent out of shape about. And they're always working on. And you guys, I'm telling you, it's diamonds, it's emeralds, it's diamonds with with re-ranks. And sometimes they are rock stars until they're diamonds, and then they hit a roadblock. It doesn't necessarily mean that the whole journey is challenging. They might get stuck at some strange place. I know Brooke Hemingway, she's double diamond with a diamond husband. She got stuck her second round at Sapphire. So she was diamond, her husband was emerald or sapphire, and she was a sapphire trying to go for her second diamond slot. And she had to talk herself into doing that. She got stuck at that place. And so I think if there was one thing, and I've said this since day one, I seriously did. I used to talk to my sister about it at convention. I'm like, I know we have to give the impression or really the reality that this business is a lot of fun, because it is. You guys experience that at convention, but there's also a place of a part of this that it's a mental struggle, and sometimes we don't talk about that enough in order for everyone along the way to feel like, oh, I'm not abnormal, I'm normal. Like, this is just part of the normal. If anyone else wants to add into that, you can. But Annie, are you willing to share what you came home and did? Because I think it is so brave and courageous what you shared with me today. Will you tell us?
Are we talking about my daycare thing?
Yes. And your mother-in-law?
Oh, well, the whole time I was in Florida, it was a lot for me, first of all, because I'm very unsocial. I used to hide at like family gatherings. I wouldn't even come out until everyone was left, even family members. So being there with everybody was a little overwhelming, like in a good way. Like I feel like it pulled me out of my shell a little more, and it was good for my husband. And I mean, it was just good all around for us. But the whole time something was going on at home. I don't know. My mother-in-law was not happy this time. We came home. She didn't even give us a hug. She didn't even welcome us home. She left early. I don't know what went on, but I sent her a message today, just, apologizing for anything I might have done, but just letting her know that she was welcome here anytime and whatever. But I went ahead and made my decision while we were in Florida that I was going to be done with my part-time daycare that I was doing. I mean, it wasn't like I just watched 3 families, kids part-time, like sometimes only have 1 kid a day. And that might go 5 days out of the week. I might only have 1 kid, through the whole day. So I was stuck at home 5 days a week with sometimes only 1 child or 2 children, and I couldn't do anything. And then my kids would get home from school, and with everything family-wise, it was just super overwhelming. So while in Florida, I decided I was gonna let daycare go. So I did that last night. I messaged everybody, and I have since, I told Tanya, I've since seriously thought about messaging everybody again, saying, no, it's okay. I'll take down your kids because they don't have a place to go. And that's what I do. I've told myself I was going to be done with daycare probably for the last 2 years, that I was going to be done like at least once a month. But then I went ahead and sought out a podcast and listened to my first podcast this morning on, what did it say? How to say, what was it, Tanya? I can't remember exactly what it was.
I don't have it memorized either. Sorry, dear.
I don't even know what I sent you. Anyways, it was
good.
It was along the lines of like how to say no to people, like how to say no to everyone else and say yes to yourself. And there was a woman on there that spoke, and she had turned down several promotions in her life and had to majorly take steps back in order to realize that she was putting herself down all these years. And she said that there's a such thing as, there's a such thing as going too far. Like for my husband and myself, we're always looking at tomorrow. We got to save for this. We've got to, make the house bigger for our family because we only have 1,100 square feet and six of us. I mean, but like we're always saving. He's always working. We're always doing everything for everybody to get to this goal. And then in the meantime, we're missing out on everything. And the way, I don't know exactly how she said it, but it was along those lines. And it made me realize that is exactly where we are. I mean, we obviously didn't expect to have a big family, but it just kind of happened with twins. And my husband works 60 plus hours a week. And what are we working for? I mean, I told my mother-in-law, because she made a comment about plexus while she was here, that's just too expensive and we should really cut that out if I was going to cut daycare out. And I feel like it's worth everything because it's helped. I mean, it's helped my husband health-wise, but it's helped me. It's opened my eyes to see that there's other things that I could be, we could be living we deserve to have adult friends. We deserve to go places. You know, I don't have to be there to watch everyone's kids on a Saturday and a Sunday, or, you know, at the drop of the hat. I mean, I don't know. It was really good. At times, I mean, I did have to walk away. I don't know if anyone noticed, but it wasn't because anyone upset me or anything. It was just like I had this knot in my stomach. Like you know, like when you're getting a good talking to, like you feel it. It's like, oh, just like when Melody gave me that sticker at convention, like it was something I really needed, like a kick in the ass without anyone kicking me. Like, but I saw that I could, you know, that I could change. I didn't have to stay, you know, living like this. Like my whole marriage, I put my husband on the back burner and I focused on my kids, and I focused on my sister's kids and her sister's kids and everybody else's. And he's been okay with that. And I think this trip that we had together, which is our first trip ever we've taken since having kids, really opened my eyes to how important it is to have a relationship with my spouse, and that we can have both. You know, the kids can be put, one doesn't have to be put over the other, that we can balance it out between the two. So it took signing up for Plexus for me to figure that out, that it wasn't weight, actual pounds that was really weighing me down all the time. It was more everything that I suppressed over the years, from childhood to adulthood, I mean, to having kids and all that. So yeah.
Oh my
I know
God.
I told Tanya,
I love that.
we always live, I had a German grandma, and she was really firm about, you just need to knock it off, and it is what it is, and you have to accept it. So, you know, if you were struggling, that's it, knock it off, just accept it and move on. You know, if you've gained a few pounds, just do some sit-ups, it'll be okay. So I feel like, you know, you suppress so much, and then just it gets to a point where you just can't do it anymore. So I feel like that's where I am, and I'm ready for things to change. So yeah.
That's super awesome. Thank you
Sorry
so
for
much.
that.
And who
Very
loved
sorry for
that?
sadness.
Who loved that? That
You're
was so
awesome, Annie. It was so nice spending time with you.
And it's so hot in here. This is my mother-in-law's house, but there's no air in it because it's not finished. So it's like sweating in here.
Well, thank you for the sacrifice.
You rock, Amy. We love you.
Go take some hydrate.
Thank you.
Rehydrate.
Well, everyone's at the pool, and I've already
nice.
gotten several texts from my kids asking me where I am.
Oh goodness. Well, we won't keep you too long. I have to say a little tiny comment. I promise I won't babble, but like that whole mentality, I've read a lot about that too. Actually, Matthew McConaughey, everybody knows him, right? He comes from a background like that, where it's like, this is just the way life is. It's hard, deal with it. And I came from that same background too. In fact, when I took my coaching with a really high-end coach, actually one of the same coaches that coached Brooke Hemingway, he told me that I was making things hard because essentially I didn't know that I was worthy enough to be successful without it being super hard. And if I didn't make it really hard, then I wasn't worthy of having the prize at the end of the work. And that's all like a mindset issue. And Matthew McConaughey, I'm reading his book right now, and he was talking about that, where his mom and dad were blue collar workers and they lived with minimum, and that's just what you did, and you got by, and it was silly to dream. It was silly to think that you could have it all. But you know what, Annie, I love that your takeaway from convention was, yes, you can have it all. And that's just awesome. So I don't know, I had to share that. Does anybody else want to say anything? Because wow, these were such good testimonials. I loved it. You don't have to, but I just wanted to open the floor.
I had one quick thing. I was struggling with signal that day, so it kept cutting out. But the one thing that I got before it just went dead afterwards, I'm terrible with names. The lady that was doing the fear thing, the 100 days of facing her fear.
Michelle Polar.
Thank you. it wasn't even so much that she faced them, but she said something about the generational fear, the way her family was raised. I every day practically talk to Mark and I'm like, you know, I'm the only person in my family that does not live in fear. Now, I came from an extremely traumatic childhood and most of my adulthood, but she said that and I went, oh my God, my grandfather is one of those people that literally had to leave dinner on the table and escape from Germany with his parents into Poland. And then the same leave Poland to run here because we're Jewish. And it never occurred to me that that generational fear was built in to my family, because it wasn't even so much my dad's side of the family, it's my mom's, but they also, I mean, second generation on both sides, they escaped Russia and Romania. And then my mom's side was escaping Germany. And it just clicked. And it was like, wow, my whole family makes sense now. So it had nothing to do with Plexus, but just that little blurb that she said. And I was like, and we're driving down the road looking for a furniture store that we couldn't find. And I'm going, oh my God, this is like absolutely crazy, because it made perfect sense. They literally live in fear. Everything about their lives is fear, no matter what you're dealing with. And I'm like the black sheep of the family because I'm so different from everybody. They look at me like I'm crazy, but now I understand why. And I just I would have never, ever have even had a reason to go there, except she literally said it. And I was like, wow, that is just, and then my signal died and that was it. And I was like, oh, okay, I got what I needed.
Yeah, she was one of my favorites too. And I was actually just sitting here thinking of her story in my mind as I was thinking of an example of Matthew McConaughey. But I was like, who told me that story now? And I couldn't think of who it was. I can remember the story, but not who it was. That's what it was coming from. Yeah, and that's why we should not, I mean, speaking to the choir here or whatever that saying is, because I'm just as bad as the next person, but it's like, that's why my coach taught me to show compassion to myself instead of shame, because some of this stuff is learned and it's generational, and it's nothing's wrong with us. It's not like we are some sort of freakish people because we carry fear with us or something to that degree. I mean, if you're raised in that type of generational curses or shame or chains or whatever you want to call it, or experiences or trauma, I mean, yeah, kind of have to let go of the beating yourself up because you have that, and just work on the compassionate side of, okay, but I'm changing and I'm moving forward, which is what Annie sounds like she's doing. So I'm just so excited for all you guys.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And it's funny because I come from the opposite, being that I was coming from a German background where everyone was so strong, and you know, you don't show weakness, and you know, you treat everyone the way you want to be treated, and you don't let anyone see you fall. So I mean, even my sister right now, she's going to nursing school. Her husband had cancer. I mean, she had dyslexia going to school. Like she constantly feels like she needs to prove herself. You know, oh, dad would be proud. Oh, grandma would be proud, because we grew up in that where we constantly had to do things to make everyone proud. So there's one living in fear, and here's the other where, I mean, you are in fear because if you're not making it, then you were looked down on.
Oh my gosh.
And maybe
you and I are
maybe
the same.
that's not exactly how it was, but
Yeah.
that's how it was, how you felt as a child and as growing up. You know, that you weren't going to be good enough.
That's very interesting you should say that, because I'm a strong German too. And that's exactly the way we were brought up. Nothing was ever good enough. You could clean the bathroom shower, and I literally had to do this when I was less than 9 years old, because it was before my parents divorced, and it was hours. And I just remember it getting dark, like pitch black out at night, and my mom was coming in, and she still was like, that's not, it's still not clean enough. And there I just sat there just scrubbing the shower for hours trying to figure out what the hell she was talking about.
Yes.
So yeah. And that's just, I hope that's even more of an aha moment for you, Annie, that like, that's just stuff that was somebody else's mindset, and you can just let it go and move forward and be the person you want to be for yourself and for your family. So yeah. All right. Thanks for sharing, Jen. That was really interesting too. I loved that. It was a good takeaway. It's nice to hear. I guess this is kind of what you did at convention probably, but you know, how we normalize everything by sharing our stories. So if anybody has anything else to say, the floor is yours. Otherwise, I'm going to shut it down. Joanna's hard at work. I see her tapping away. You look beautiful, sweetie. I loved your post today too. Super cool. All right, you guys, if you don't have anything else, then I'm gonna. What was that?
I just said thank you. It's just really
Yeah.
awesome getting that in the mail. I showed a picture to my mom of the 3, and she goes, "Do you wear those?" She thought they were rings, and then I put it in my hand. I'm like, "No, it's not a ring, Mom." So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. They're really big, you guys, too, aren't they, Joanna? Like the diamond is way bigger than the sapphire and emerald thing. So it's really makes it even that much more kind of exciting. So
Pretty cool.
it is beautiful. Thanks for sharing, Joanna, today.
Thank
That
you.
was a great post. All right, you guys, have a good night then, and we'll see you next week. Oh, by the way, just to give you a little heads up, next week is going to be more of some sharing and that kind of thing. So more of some fun and lighthearted stuff that we'll be doing. And then the following week is going to be a guest speaker. And then the last Tuesday of the month, we're actually going to do a work Zoom on this call. Just to give you a little heads up in advance. We're going to go ahead and make this a work with me Zoom basically for about 30 minutes. We're going to invite. And then the next 30 minutes, I'm going to go live for a Zoom opportunity meeting. So we're literally going to be inviting people to get right onto a Zoom live. We've never done this yet, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. So just a heads up on all that. Take care, everyone.